Well, today we have Ell Graniel with Truespeak on the Light of Conscience podcast, and I cannot wait for you to meet her. Elle, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning. So happy to be here sharing the light with you all.
I'm so happy you're here too. Thank you so much for being here with us. I would love for you to share how you figured out or when you realized that you're a way shower and what that means to you.
I had never thought about it before I became one of the members at your Facebook page when you asked that question. I'm like, wow, it was such an intriguing question. And what I realized is I've actually been a way shower, obviously since birth, but realized that I was what then I called different and couldn't talk to people about that. I could see and feel and speak to spirits. And at a really young age of only 4 or 5 years old, I knew I had an angel with me at all times. And I knew that I was always protected because this angel was always with me, speaking to me and advising me.
Wow, what a gift to know that and to actually feel it because, we're told, you have your guardian angels and everything, but to actually have the deep knowing because you sense it or you feel it or hear it or however it works for you, that's just awesome. I'm actually thrilled about that. So how do you know though? Like what makes you know? Does that make sense that you have that angel with you?
Yes, it does. And what gift that I've been blessed with, definitely the gift of communication. And that I think why it's so easy for me to speak easily with my angel. And so how I knew, but luckily I've always known that there were three voices speaking in my head. There's the ego, the conscious mind, then there's my angel or angels, and then the true source, the God light that comes in and helps keep me on my path. And what part of what I teach in my work, because I knew this intrinsically as a young child, is those three voices use different types of language. The example I like to give is how Esther Hicks has a different type of voice versus Abraham Hicks. When it's Esther, it's a different speaking pattern and such than when it's, Abraham. And once you understand those three voices, then number one, you're not crazy, but more importantly, you understand which direction it is that you want to follow. So we all have angels and we all have our God light. We just let the ego block the reception from time to time.
I know that's true. How do you work with people then to help them, because I know you do this, help them to distinguish between the three voices and to even connect with two or one of those voices that they might not have that connection with?
The first thing that I do and that anybody can do is start to become a listener. We're not very good listeners. We when people are talking, we're automatically thinking about what we want to say and not fully engaged in the conversation. So when you really start to listen to those voices, and I'm a huge fan of journaling, journal down things like, why would I be thinking that? Well, just journal it down, and just say, on this date and time, I was thinking that, I really, really want to choke my coworker. So get it out of your head and get it in the journal. And then you can start to hear the language like, oh, that's how my ego talks. Oh, that's how my angels speak. And that's my true source. And basically your angels are very loving and kind and supportive. They can be kind of tough love. The ego tends to label and judge. And then your true source really hardly ever speaks. But when it does, it's just really direct. It's not really a conversation. It's just more of a, here you go. Here's this little nugget of wisdom for you today. And you let it be your guide.
Okay. So when someone is working with you, what tools do you use to get them in touch with those voices or those messages?
I am so blessed to have met Dr. Libby Adams. She's the founder of the International Academy of Self-Knowledge, where I was trained over 22 years ago. And the special process that she has patented and protected. And it's such an amazing process, this transformational meditation. So we call it TFM. And when I say that I facilitate transformational meditation, a lot of people's mind does closure and they hear transcendental meditation. But this process is nothing like transcendental meditation. It's not about getting the mind quiet. It's about working with the ego, partnering up with the ego instead of having the ego be separate and try to boss you around all the time, to collaborate. And with TFM, the process is, it's a guided meditation where I facilitate the connection of you with your true source and open that channel of communication. And then my job as the facilitator while we're working together is to clarify for you when your conscious mind is speaking and when your true source is speaking. So the process of transformational meditation is the catalyst. It's the cornerstone of everything that I do, even in my own life.
Wow, that is so amazing that you have that gift. And I'm going to put a plug in for you right now because I've been lucky enough to be the receiver of a transformational meditation session with Elle. And one thing that I definitely can say is that it feels like you know that you're safe, and you are safe to look at those places within you that you've shoved aside or you've stuffed down and, piled other things on top of, because there are places within us that we don't want to look at. I have the same things because we're afraid for whatever reason. And this is such a loving and non-judgmental space for you to just go ahead and look. And then from there, you do what you want with it. Elle is very good with helping you overcome and transmute or shift the ideas and beliefs and energies with that. But, you are in control. It is it is a process that is for you. It's not done necessarily to you. Am I right by saying that? That's how I felt.
Yes, that's very accurate. And so what happens with transformational meditation, you go inside to those spaces and you could do something as simple as a phobia, like say, if you have a fear of spiders, right? So we will work on where that came from, connect with the truth. And so sometimes when we come out of the work, I'll say, okay, so we started with this phobia of spiders. How are you feeling about that now? And people will literally go, I have a fear of spiders. The process can switch just like that. Yet at other times when it's really layered, something that we've been dealing with for 20, 30, 40 years, these programs that we're running and these beliefs that we hold that aren't true, those sometimes take a few more sessions because we're like a diamond. And so each session polishes a facet of that diamond. So diamonds aren't smooth like a softball, right? They have all these brilliant cuts and sides, and each little aspect of it makes the diamond what it is. So we work polishing on each one until you feel that you've got the brilliance that you want in that area of your life.
Well, that sounds fabulous to me. I love how you said we are diamonds, and it's true, and we are that bright. And it's reminding me at this moment of the Hawaiian belief or idea that we're all born with a bowl of light, but we gather stones into it. So all of the muckiness or all of those emotions that just cover our light a little bit. And what you do in a way is also, you polish the side of the diamond, but you also take those rocks, those stones out of that bowl one by one. Sometimes all of them will dump out at once, and sometimes it's a slower process, but same concept, just different words. I love that. Speaking of words, let's move into your neuro-linguistic programming, because that is something that I know that makes you kind of over the top effective with your work. So what is NLP?
NLP is neuro-linguistic programming, and what it basically is it's the science of a linguist, and actually a scientist came up with the idea of the understanding that we do talk in our mind constantly, and that our brain is purely positive. Our brain is there to create and give us all of our hopes and dreams and desires. Yet somehow we muck it up, like with those stones you were saying that block the channel. And neurolinguistic programming gets into the truth of how you speak, how you listen, how you process it, how you understand, so that you can get the best message possible. The best way to understand this is for me to just walk you through this simple process. So close your eyes because I'm going to ask you to visualize a little mind movie. Do not picture a cat. The cat is not running around the tree. It wouldn't run up the tree. And don't even put a dog in the picture right now. And so then when you open your eyes, you're laughing, right? Because your brain don't. Your brain can't not. Your brain's like, give me. So with NLP, you learn how to say and think and act in a manner of that which you want. So a common one I see here is when people want more money, right? They have issues with money and they say things like, I don't want to be poor, or I'm worried about that bill that's due. So they're creating all of this negative programming about their fears, doubts, and worries instead of shifting it to what do you want, and it's that, money flows to me freely from divine sources and I graciously accept it. I have all the money I need always. Money flows to me magically. Like all this kind of language. Then you allow yourself to feel the joy of what would that feel like when you shift your thoughts into that process of being opening the money channel, and how would that feel, and what would you do, and how would you share it? And you get so lit up over it, and then you go outside and a $20 bill blows by you and you're just like, what the heck, because you open the channel, and it can happen that fast. So with NLP, I train people, and it's a process that already exists. You can train yourself. I've been working on it for 22 years. So I like to find out how each person needs what aspect of NLP so that their language starts to help them live their lives on purpose.
Such a beautiful concept of living your life on purpose. I know that's how you live. And I think that is a really good segue into how your thoughts, which you create, so this is, or we can say how our thoughts, which we create, lead us to actions, and that's for better or worse. Can you speak a little bit more on how our thoughts really create our actions?
I have a process that I like to call what's your cup of tea. So I introduce this to people because people like tea and they like it different ways, hot, cold, different type of, even the glass, what you put in it, what you don't put in it, it's all you, and it's all correct. It's all correct. If somebody gave me a cup of hot tea loaded with cream and sugar, I would just be, what? But it lights that person up. So it's proper for them. So your cup of tea, TEA, is thoughts, emotions, and actions. So if you're ever doing something that you shouldn't be doing, or more importantly, usually it's inaction, you're not doing something that you know would be good for you, then you want to look at, well, what are your feelings around that? And what are your thoughts around that inaction? Once you go inside and you go backwards in the TEA, then you get to your thoughts, because it's what we're thinking that moves everything and shapes everything that we do. So when you get your thoughts straight, you get your life straight. And you do that by thinking about that which you desire, not that which you fear, because there's a path always through fear, always through fear. And then you can make those choices either to stay stuck and blame, which is easy. Blame is so easy. You can blame everybody from the government to your parents for why you don't have what you want in life. But the minute you take control and you realize, I'm an adult, I make the decisions, I have the power, everything shifts just like that. So you have the power, but you need to make the choice to claim that power, right? You could have a closet full of clothes, but you could choose to wear the same 3 things all the time. And why would you do that when you have so many choices within your grasp? So you have the power, take it and use it.
You've reminded me that I want to go to find some new clothes, and I want to take you along. But that is so profound, the TEA. Like, can we remember that? Because just remember, like, okay, I'm doing this action or I'm not doing this action. Okay, what are the emotions that would help me to either stop or start the action? Okay, but then what are the thoughts? Because the thoughts is where it starts. So if we can remember that it starts at the beginning, which is T, which is thoughts. That's so profound. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I will remember that. I might even put T up in my living room. Do you have any suggestions for our listeners about what they can do to actively shift their thoughts to that which they desire and away from the fear, doubt, and worry? What are your suggestions for them? What are your tips?
I mentioned earlier that I'm a huge fan of journaling. So one of the best things you can do is get the stuff out of your mind, because it's running around in there like a little hamster in a wheel. It's running, 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 talking crazy, crazy. And then you see the hamster stops and it looks out of the wheel and then it gets back and starts running, running. So we want to spend way more time out of the wheel and not that running, going nowhere. When you get things journaled, you get them out of your head. That's the first step. And then you could look at it, physically look at it. Now it's not in your head. There are words on a page that you can read and think about. Then you say, okay, well, I choose not to do this anymore. I'll give you a very popular one because I teach fitness classes. So a lot of people tell me, I want to exercise, but I'm just so bad. I'm so bad. Okay, oh my gosh, there's the language. You're saying you're bad at exercising, so you are going to be bad at exercising because that's the story you're telling yourself. So let's do T backwards. The first thing you can do to be good at fitness in well, not in yoga necessarily, but in the other aspects of fitness is what I tell people is go to the action first. The action is get on the shoes, get on those trail shoes, get on those cross trainers, get on those shoes, and then it's going to make you feel better because you've made an action. So that's an emotion. And then your thoughts will be, okay, I'm getting out. I'm going to go exercise. So you can work the T backwards too. Get the action first, right? Which will take you into a better place, which will then help shift your thoughts. Or you can just flat out say, I love to exercise. And then the little ego will go, what? Who are you talking about? That's not us. We don't love to exercise. And then you just override it and you say, yes, I do. Remember, we were always so physically fit and we loved it. Remember those days? You get into the emotion. So journal it, claim it. Then the next step would be from journaling is to claim your role in this, whatever's happening that you don't like or whatever's not happening that you desire. Say, how am I creating this? How is this happening over and over again? How can I shift this right now? And you say, well, when you look at it, well, I could do this or I could do that or I could do this. And I know it's scary because the actions clearly are something we don't want to do or we would have done it already. But now you have it in writing, like these are my action steps. In order for me to get away from the fear of asking for a raise, I'm going to write down my value to the company, what that value is worth, and I'm going to present it with confidence because I deserve it. Now that takes courage, but you have a plan of action now. Instead of just sitting around and waiting for a raise, which may never happen, you can actively get that which you want, which then leads to more money, which, so it's a nice process, but it starts with claiming your role in the process. When I was growing up in a home of domestic violence, my father was very violent only towards my mother, but we had some family therapy. And I remember I was probably about 10 years old. And the therapist told my mom that she needs to look at how she's creating this violence in her life. Like, what's her role in this as being a victim? And at 10 years old, I was super pissed at that man. I wanted to hurt that man because I felt like my mom was an angel. My father was the one that was all the trouble and she was doing nothing wrong. But now that with all the work that I've done, I realize, I look back and I do see how there was the victim mentality and I do see how things could have shifted. But until we have an awareness first that we are playing the victim or we are recreating this hamster wheel for ourselves, nothing will change. So awareness is crucial, and get it out of your head onto the paper, take a look at it.
And another option would be to work with Ell, and especially with, I think your transformational meditation is going to really bring awareness to those places that are keeping us from experiencing life as brightly as possible. How can they work with you? What are the best ways? How can they opt in?
I agree with that 100% because consciously when we're doing things, right? So a lot of people coach cognitively, and that's all the stuff that I just talked about. Get it in a journal, make a plan, work the actions, it's like the AA 12 step, just work it. But when those little voices are still stuck in your head and they're still trying to run the show, it's really hard to affect change. So with transformational meditation, you get those voices set straight with the true source, right? With source, with your God light. And it's so, like you said before, it's so loving and kind and supportive. And it feels really good to shed the light in those dark corners of our minds and our hearts. and so that we can live our lives on purpose. I like to start with 3 sessions. I do a package of 3 transformational meditation sessions because it's easy and it's fast. You get really fast results. And then some people are off and running. They do transformational meditation for themselves. They're good to go. And then they only reach out to me when the issues are really deep or big or scary. And then I'll walk them through it. Because what I do as a facilitator is I can hear the difference between the ego talking and the true source talking. So I make sure that the answers that they get are the truth, and not something that is still running those old programs. And so the 3 session is where I love to start. But sometimes people are really ready to just kick it all to the curb. They're like, you know what? I am ready to live my life on purpose, and I want to start now. And that's the 28-day program that I do, where I work with you for 28 straight days. And we have a concept that we go over every day. And we do TFM if necessary every day. You speak with me every single day for as long as it takes to clear the issues that come up, so that by the time you're done, you are a master of your thoughts, emotions, actions. You're living your life on purpose. And when I do that with people, because the ripple effect is huge, right? If somebody begins to live their life on purpose, everybody they touch, their life becomes better, or they have to go, sadly, but that's the case sometimes. So the 28 days is my favorite because it's super exciting. The 3 sessions is the where to start. And it empowers people to say, I can do this. Okay, I was just advised right now by my angels, for all of your way showers, my dear, is to text me at 808-724-7814 and text me that just simply says, I'm in. 808-724-7814, text I'm in. That's all you have to do. That's my code that's going to tell me that you want a free transformational meditation session. Yay! Because that way you'll know what the heck I'm talking about, right? Because if you've never done it, you don't know. Like if I said, okay, we're going to go play cricket right now, and just be like, what are we going to go do, right? You've got to do it. So that's for you and this podcast and your listeners and the people on your Facebook page, my dear.
Oh my goodness, your inbox your phone is going to blow up. So be ready for that, Elle. That is incredible. Please, if you're listening, text Elle. Wow. Your company is Truespeak, and I truly can't speak right now. It's just, what an incredible thing to offer. I'm so I feel like my heart is just bursting open with all the love and light and joy and goodness in the world. Just from hearing you say that was so amazing. So
let me add too, because transformational meditation is just one aspect of the work that I do. So you mentioned my website, truespeak.us. That's where the plethora of everything that I do is. It's all around the cornerstone of TFM, but corporate workshops, retreats, grief resolution, so many things are on there based in this work. And so if you're not sure about TFM, but you'd like to just kind of dip your toe in what's happening, we could do workshops, at your workplace that are helping people get better with their language so that their performance improves. And I wanted to give one more tool that people can do when you're journaling and when you're looking at the things that are going on in your life. It's if you think of yourself as the director of the movie of your life, the director very often says cut, and then says something like to the actor, like, okay, tilt your head a little bit and now deliver that line again. And so the actor or actress does, and then that's the part of the movie, like that tilt of the head was just like, bam, that just brought it home. It melted everybody's heart. It's the scene they remember. So we can do that. Anytime things aren't going the way you believe they should, you literally say cut, tilt your head and say, what the heck could I do right now to affect the positive change that I deserve in my life right now?
That is such amazing advice and so fun. You're making it playful. And I just, with you, Elle, I can see how you have incorporated play into your life and how it affects not only you, but as you said, ripple effects, it affects the people around you. So, oh my gosh, thank you so much. This has been such a joy. I cannot wait for anyone and everyone to experience your transformational meditation. When you do that, please report back on the Light of Conscience community, or in the Light of Conscience community on Facebook. You can join that. All you do is search Light of Conscience. That's CONSCIENCE, conscience. And you'll see a whale. Join the group, answer the questions. You'll be in. We can continue this amazing conversation. Elle is also in that group. And thank you again so much. I just can't express my gratitude because there aren't words.
Thank you, my dear, for creating this space for everybody. Yes, you are the leader of way showers. You're the lead way shower in this.
Oh, thank you, Elle. It's really been such a pleasure to do the things that I'm doing. And this podcast is definitely one of those. I have just loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And looking forward to continuing the conversation online.
And I hope you do join us in the Light of Conscience community, because this is a conversation I definitely want to keep going. I have some more exciting news for you. I'm going to be offering Kundalini yoga classes starting tomorrow that you can join from anywhere in the world as long as you have internet. The first time you join, it's free. Please do check it out. There will be a link in the show notes to get more information to join the class. These will also be added to Club LC. If you're curious about this club I keep talking about, that's my initials and it's Light of Conscience. It's super exciting. You get Reiki every week. You can have Kundalini yoga every week coming up soon. There's a meditation that I share every month, mantras, music, things to keep you aligned with your Light of Conscience. That's bit.ly/club, capital L, capital C. You hear me say that all the time. Capital L and capital C stands for Light of Conscience and Laura Christine. I am so grateful for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope to see you tomorrow in that Kundalini yoga class. That is, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, November 7th. If not, you can join in because we're still doing it. Thanks so much and have a wonderful, wonderful day.